What is that? Hello, hello, hello. What's good, everybody? It's that time again to get down on some Loki one last time for the finale. Haven't even been able to talk to my man to get his points or view on it or anything or his thoughts, so we're all going to learn about it together. The man I'm talking about, of course, is the one, the only Phantom D Saint. What's up, brother?
Hey y'all, Phantom D Sane here, and I don't know what's more of a mindfuck. This entire series or my job right now. I don't know. We will find out tonight.
Oh, things are all splitting off into multiverses. We just don't even know. But yeah, this one was crazy. All in all, I don't know. We'll see how we feel by the end of it once we talk about it. But man, I gotta say, all in, all out, I was not the biggest fan of this finale. I'm telling you, I was just
Wait,
like,
the finale or the entire season?
I like the season. I was rolling
Uh-huh.
with the season. I actually did like the season, but again, I don't know. I just was not the biggest fan of this finale at all. I don't know. It left me lacking, so to speak. What about you?
I had like mixed feelings, honestly. Like while watching it, I was on my episode Loki high, but after like 2 to 5 minutes, I'm like, hold up, wait a minute. I got a list of questions that I don't think have been answered. And then when the after credit scene happened, it said season 2. I'm like, okay, now I understand here. And then I'm like, hold up, is Disney's Loki just HBO's Westworld? Because the way how this episode went down, I'm like, Kang, or the one that remains, is Ford. And
He's
then
what? Oh,
he's
he's
pretty
Ford.
much Ford because he pretty much orchestrated everything. So with Ford, he gets shot by Dolores. And with, this show, it's, Sylvie stabbing him. And seeing what happens after that, it's up to everyone else to decide. Like, it literally is just Westworld season 1.
I like it. I like it. Absolutely. Only Westworld. Westworld was written a little bit. I don't know. I like Westworld all the way through from start to finish. Yeah,
We
this
watched season 1 of Westworld. We watched season 1 of Loki. See how they do it.
see how they do it. Exactly. They man, and I mean, a lot of people guess the well, kind of. They didn't ever really say the K name. Like they never really got that in. It is He Who
Exactly.
Remains. So, but from my understanding, again, I'm not a comic book guy. I've never watched the comics, so I'm not sure exactly how it runs. But from my understanding, there's this same guy has multiple different personalities or like different ones of him, variants of himself. So yeah, I guess this is one of those variants. Is that what's happening?
I'm in the same boat as you. In terms of Kang, I know zero thing about the comics. I'm not even gonna bother Googling or wikiing anything. So I'm like, you know what? When season 2 comes around, oh, when the other like TV shows and movies come around, I'm guessing he's gonna be like the new. I wouldn't say he may not even be like new Thanos, but I guess he might be like the big bad for like Avengers 5. That's my guess. So I
Well,
guess it's pretty much the ride until you get to Kane the Conqueror. Because way how the one who remains was saying like he got a bunch of evil variants.
mhm.
So I'm guessing that we're gonna be facing all these evil variants until we get to the Kang, I'm guessing. Or is it just gonna be dealing with him and his minions who are gonna be like fighting
Well,
specifically?
yeah, I don't know because that's how they brought it in. They made it sound like there's going to be just a gaggle of all of
Hmm.
hims coming, and they're all going to be bad, and it's going to be a war for it. So, are we going to get different versions of him? Is it just going to be him in the end, who's like the reason for all this and all the madness? They've already said like he's supposed to be coming in Ant Man and the Wasp. They may nod to him in Spider Man. They may nod to him in Doctor Strange. Who knows? Like, yeah, it's going to be crazy. But supposedly, I think in somewhere something, I think Kang is supposed to be a big deal. Like you said, the new big bad Thanos style. So we shall see. And if he's got all these different personalities or all these different versions of him, that would be a cool villain because you can just do different things with him. And even if he dies off, you can just come back in the next one with a new version.
Exactly. But then
So
it'll kind of feel cheap when you keep on killing all these different variants. It's like, well, who's better? And then if I like this one over the other 2 or 3, like, what's up there? What's up?
that's true. That's true. But how cool was this week's opening with all those lines from all the different movies coming in and then switching to like real life quotes and then all the speeches and then like kind of intermingling the two, kind of showing like all the multiverses intertwined. Like, I love that opening. How about you?
I thought at first they were like changing up the whole like Marvel Studios thing, and that's how it's gonna be. And like every time a movie or TV show starts, you're gonna hear all those lines. And then I'm like, oh wait, no, it's just pretty much the freaking multiverse.
Oh, I thought that was way tight. And then Loki and Sylvie make it to the front door of the castle, and they're like a little hesitant about entering, but their quick convo kind of had a deeper meaning than first thought after we were watching, I think, because Sylvie's like, aren't you going to tell me not to kick in the door? And Loki's like, it never made a difference. So is Loki like knowingly in a time loop right now?
Is it all a loop? I'm telling you, it's Westworld, man. Westworld. But I don't think it's like a loop, honestly.
That was just an interesting wordage, the way he said that, like, it never works. So is he talking about, like, is he just talking about, like, later when they get in the fight and she doesn't listen to him? Or, like, it never works, like, you never listen to me, so what's the point now? Or I've been on this loop 1,000 times and me telling you not to never works, you always do it anyway.
Nah. Oh my gosh. I don't like this show anymore.
You know we're going down the rabbit hole. It's just how deep will it sink?
Dude, I don't like this show or the way he is going down this whole DJ though, but it could be possible. But I think this is like the first time it's happening though. And if we see the same scene in like season 2, then it's just like them like rewinding everything. Because how we pretty much got like the ending. So it could make sense. But I think it is all happening for the first time. Because even if he says like, oh, let's just wait, she's gonna say no and just like kick the damn door down, regardless. Because she's been waiting this whole life just to find out who on earth is this person that took her life away.
Speaking on who on earth is this person, it looks like we just had a variant enter the stream. We're crossing multiverses right now. What's good? We got the one, the
Yes,
only.
indeed.
Hey, what's good, girl?
Yes, and you know how we do, man. You know, AK is always off stuck in the negative zone, so she has to send her variants out across the realm. That's just how it be.
That's just how it's going down.
So is your different variant just all the list of titles I've been giving you, and me thinking it's all just one person? It's all been different
I blame
variants.
you. I blame you. It was AK all along. It's your fault.
What's up, Peter Griffin? I see out there we got, I think there is a loop, but if Loki does know he's in the loop, would have blown my mind. I'm telling you,
Y'all think it's a loop?
It was just weird to me the way he said it, like I could, but it never works. Well, never means he's done this before, and it didn't work any of the other times, so why would it work this time, right?
Okay, wait. So that's a line from Kang.
No, that's
from
Loki.
From Loki?
The front door.
Okay.
Sylvie said, aren't you going to tell me not to kick in the door? And Loki's like, I would, but it never works.
Okay. You know what? I actually missed that line, but here's the real subtle thing with this that they just slid under the radar. Right before Loki got pruned, he was telling Sylvie that he had to tell her something. If you go back and you remember like that last interrogation type thing he did with Mobius, he said, you know, I've met her before. She came to me on Asgard and told me to look out for blah, 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 blah. And it seems like he just recently remembered that interaction happened. So I might be too tinfoil reading into it, but it seems like they had a River Song, Doctor Who type vibe where they were meeting out of sync. So the Sylvie we saw has not become yet the Sylvie that Loki was visited by when he was still on Asgard back in them years ago, back in the day. So it seems like, you know, he had that info because it was already given to him.
It's possible. I don't know about that one. I think he was making
it's the multiverse. It's the multiverse, though.
This show is time travel. It's time travel in the show. So at any point, when you think that this is the current person, that person could be from the past or the future.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And Loki, when is he actually telling the truth?
Or we could go with Peter Griffin. He says he just thought it meant when that lady with Sylvie on the planet, who shot Sylvie on the planet, because he's told her not to kick in the door. She kicked it in and then got shot.
You see, that's the question. Are we thinking of that moment, or are we thinking it's all loop?
That's what I'm saying. It falls back to the same premise with River and the doctor. That woman said that she knows who they are, that they're devils. She was already full booted up with the weaponizer. How did she know to be there? Why wasn't she trying to get in line with the other folks of the, space flea bottom?
She was just old and she had it. She's like, I'm going to die here and go back and be with my husband. She didn't care, but she wasn't going to let anybody. She wasn't going to let anybody steal her food or come up on her while she was alive. She was going to hold her own and hold hers while she was there.
That's always basic human instinct. Honestly, I do agree with you on that. It just, when it comes to Feige and the way he's spinning this web, I don't know. I don't think that's just a throw off line for Loki to say she came to see me on Asgard. But again,
I never know. You never know. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Peter Griffin wonders if Sylvie, who visited him, is telling him not to let him kill that Nathaniel. Well, if so, he failed on that event. She was waiting for her husband, who she hated. She's waiting to go see her husband, who she hated. Oh, you hate love. All marriage is a hate-love situation. I remember she was like never that nice. Yep.
Yeah, it just seems like this Sylvie ain't the one that he was thinking about back then. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on my tinfoil, iceberg of Marvel things.
Absolutely. And like I said, it could also just mean that he knows no matter what he ever says, Sylvie is always just going to do what Sylvie wants to do regardless. So,
facts. Just classic Loki.
Absolutely.
That's what Loki always does. They come in, do some fuck shit, get in their feelings because they know they did wrong, but they don't necessarily know how to make it right. And they flip-flop back and forth, but they survive. And old man Loki, classic Loki, is still alive. You're not fooling me with that damn helmet. I expect to see him again.
Yep, exactly. How many of you jumped when Miss Minutes just insta-flashed down the screen?
Negative.
It didn't get you?
Nah.
Not a jump moment? How about you, fandom? Uh-oh.
You're muted you're talking.
He said, get that mute button off. He's so scared it just put him into silence.
Now look.
Afterwards.
Kang is listening, okay? He know we about to talk this fuck shit and call out all of the tomfoolery when we see it, but also add in the awesome tinfoil. And he's trying to shut us down. They don't want us to be great. he actually might have stepped away though.
Yeah, he could have definitely.
Yeah.
But she welcomed him to the Citadel at the end of time, and like we finally get a name, like He Who Remains. We also find out that he's a ruler and a conqueror, but what we did never ever hear was the name Kang. Did they do that on purpose?
I mean, his name is Kane though, but they just didn't want to bother to drop it because all the Loki variants are all named Loki, so they all should. Well, even Sylvie's name is Loki, but she doesn't want to be called
She
Loki.
changed it herself. Yeah.
Because she's trying to take, fate into her own hands and everything. So it's like her free will. So she calls herself Sylvie. But in reality, her name is Loki. Even the one who remains even called her Loki when they were sitting down giving tea. He was like, Loki. I'm like, really?
Was he just being rude when he did that? Was like he just taking jabs right there?
Of course, this man came and eating an apple.
It's bruh. Look. Okay, see, I posted this earlier on Facebook. The amount of freaking swag that was just oozing out of the screen when he came on with the purple suit, almost looking like a more brown skin Cab Calloway. And for you youngsters that don't know who Cap Calloway is, go look up Janet Jackson's All Right video. He was in that. That's where they got the inspiration for that song, was from him.
Miss Minutes was offering a deal that seemed like too good to be true. Do we think that the One Who Remains would have really honored that deal that she was talking?
I don't trust Miss Minutes. Since what? I think when DJ first said it, and I'm like, really? She's just a mascot. And the next episode, you watch her eyes. And I'm like, something's up with Mrs. Minutes. And literally, that's the first person they see when they open that door. I'm like, hold up. Wait a minute. So this is how he's pretty much seeing everything this whole time, communicating this whole time, even playing dumb at certain points. I'm like, really? God damn it.
That's just... Excuse me, I'm sorry. That's just how it's gonna be. I didn't get that jump scare in the beginning, But where I did feel like, the theory was confirmed that Miss Minutes had something to do with everything was all of those sinister faces that she was making while she was talking. No one that looks at you with like squinted eyes, even if they're cartooned, and seems like they're annoyed by what you're telling them, there's no way they're not a villain. She's directly connected to Kang, like Ravana. What is her TVA name? Rainslayer or something like that.
Renslayer.
She doesn't even know who the man is. So Ms. Minutes is creepy as hell. I've always thought she was suspect from day one. That's it.
I want to know who Ren is and when did she slay him? Like, is that some family thing going way back in time? Because it seems like her other thing has to do with killing too. Yeah, I can't remember her name in the principal's office was like a killer name too. I was like, wow, is she just a slayer in every form or what?
Yeah. I actually just watched that video today. Shoot, I can't remember it either. But yeah, it basically meant different language meant the same thing.
It was like a form of Terminator.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, like Terminator or something. It's like she's a killer in every direction. It's crazy. But Sylvie called it fiction, and Loki says like they write their own destiny now. Like, did the one who remains already know that they would turn down the deal? And if so, then why did they why did give him to him in the first place? Why'd they do that, fandom?
He knew from the jump start. I said it earlier. Like, he planned everything just like Ford. Even though some people still think that was debatable. But no, he planned everything. He seemed like in his whole conversation of how he pretty much was, the savior of the timeline. It seems like he said himself, he was bored, tired. Oh, like he had enough of this. He wanted someone to replace him. And it's like, of all people to choose, you're going to choose a Loki. Come on now. He just wanted, he wanted someone to kill him. He needed an excuse.
Not one, but two showed up, though. He said he's looking for a person to show up, and the person that showed up came in two. So if he knew they were going to turn down that offer in the first place, like, why did he even have Miss Minutes offered to him? Or are Kang and Miss Minutes, or He Who Remains and Miss Minutes even on the same page, AK? What do you think about that?
See, so I make sure I'm understanding everything correctly. Please restate the question.
Basically, Miss Minutes comes up and offers Loki and Sylvie, like, we found a place to insert you back in, and you can both be on the timeline, and everything will be all hunky-dory. So if they knew that they were going to turn that down in the first place, if He Who Remains knew they'd turn down that in the first place, why even have Miss Minutes offer him that package? Or is Miss Minutes just offering that to them on her own, and her and He Who Remains aren't even on the same page? Like they're about to battle or they're battling.
Okay. I don't think Miss Minutes is like orchestrating some solo part of power. I think she definitely does work for Kang. They said they shared stories from across all of the universes. So it makes sense that his tech is way more advanced. When it was asked, Miss Minutes said, she's kind of AI, kind of a learning computer, almost like the precursor to Data on Star Trek. But there's just something that does not completely make that mesh.
Yeah, because I'm like, why even offer them this skill? If you already know that they're going to turn it down, why take the time to even offer it to them? Or is that
think he knew
to get to where they have to go?
Yeah, see, it's either that, what you said, or he was off script for a few minutes more than we realized when he said it. Because there's so many inner working things with this, and it just doesn't always make sense. If you see what I'm saying, like, we can theorize all we want and we can put things in a row, but when you really look at it, none of it works because of how things are now. The multiverse is really weird.
And speaking of theorizing, I love how Peter Griffin just put it. He's like, what if the one who remains was like just a bit too comfy with this because Alioth and others had held him captive, and this was his way out to start the multiverse war? What if
that could be something?
Yeah,
at one point I thought that he was a prisoner this whole time. I thought so as well in the beginning, but then it turned out no, that he was still in control. I think that's the whole thing. That since episode 1, it was all about the illusion of free will.
Mm-hmm.
And he's doing this time and time again. So that's even when Miss Minutes like offer, those like, oh, well, you can kill Thanos, become the ruler and this and that, like return to, your precious life and your memories and stuff. And again, it's just all the illusion that they have a choice when in reality they never did. He wanted them both here. That's why he needed two Lokis.
Yep.
Because the only way that Sylvie was going to end up here is if our variant Loki from 2012 was all along in her journey.
Yeah.
I like it.
That's facts. Yep.
So we are then shown Ravonna waiting in her office, and Miss Minute pops up and apologizes for being late. So now we know that she can't be in two places at once. So what exactly is this thing? Like, I mean, I know she's some kind of different technology, but I mean, is she alive? Is she just modern tech? Like, she seems to be able to do too much.
David, you want to roll in first?
About which part? When
what is this? Like, what exactly is
all of it? Yeah, speaking all of it.
Like, is she a Yoda? Is she her own kind of being? Is she just technology? Like, what is it? What is it?
I honestly think that she is a technology from like one of the Kang variants, because even like the Kang, the one who remains was talking about, well, that Earth variant of him spoke with the other versions of him throughout the multiverse, and it was always exchanging technology. So that technology had to come from like one of those multiverse worlds, and that's pretty much was the first ever creation of like Mrs. Minutes, and they're just constantly just borrowing it at each and every point. So even though at one point like this Mrs. Minutes could be like gone now that the one who remains is dead, we're gonna probably see others, in my opinion, but just from the other like evil variants of Kang at this rate.
Oh wow. Peter Griffin said he just watched Emergency Awesome's video, and on the alternate ending, it was supposed to be Miss Minutes episode, and Kang in the credit scene. And I had actually, I'm not sure where I heard it. It definitely wasn't there, but I heard it somewhere. Somebody saying that they redid this whole thing at the last minute and basically made it a Kang episode. It wasn't. It was going to be a completely different explanation of stuff.
That's not surprising, only because of the way they did WandaVision. WandaVision was supposed to have a lot of references hinting toward Doctor Strange too, because the main question for all of us was, why does Doctor Strange not sense all of this Hexus tomfoolery with people being held hostage? So this seems like it could be the same thing. I don't think, though, that he was a prisoner. I think he was exactly what he said, that the Time War engaged after all of his, some of the more quote unquote evil versions of him took over power. For Loki, where this is and he gets kicked back out, the TVA does not, run on regular time. They're in their own little pocket dimension. So to me, he got sent back, and that middle statue is there because it's Kang. And already, since Sylvie has stabbed Kang in the heart, it's been rewritten, and that's one of his variants, one of the evil ones that are there, and that's going to be the mainstream MCU.
Miss Minutes is a variant of Kang.
Miss Minutes seems to be more of a helper. I think, because she's still very, very sinister. I didn't do the jump scare. It didn't surprise me that she was there. She was shady from episode 1 when she came in. You don't just know too much stuff, and then you hem and haw around, being real or being an AI.
Definitely. Nah. Fandom, was she late to Ravonna's office because she had to wait and see if the Lokis would take the deal?
Is she truly late though?
Well,
she's still. It was out of her mouth. She said, "Sorry, I'm late."
She's always lying too, DJ. You can't trust Mrs. Minutes. Like, come on now.
Listen to a word that comes out of her mouth. Oh,
and again,
not at all.
Because even at one point, I think it was like episode 2, where he even asks like, "Are you really here, or are you not here?" So it's like, was she truly late, or was she just not late? And if she was late late because of the whole Loki situation, or was she late on a whole entirely other different situation? You just don't know.
You don't.
Yeah, true enough.
Miss Minutes downloaded some files, but not the ones Ravonna asked for. She said, And he thought he thought these files would be more useful, and Ravona's like, "Who's he?" So she never knew who she was working for. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, why is she so okay with this? Like, it's like finding out that she was being guided by animatronics was no big deal. Just keep it going. Like, why is she so okay with that, AK?
CG. It's all, when Disney comes in with all these shows, there's a lot of different themes handled that Disney isn't quite prepared for. So they're setting these breadcrumbs up that they can hold, the weight of whatever that backlash might be. Especially where Wiccan is concerned. I want to see Wiccan and Hulkling. I don't like that they might be, sidelined because Disney don't do the gays and whatnot. But
Yeah, they're definitely going to be making it. When they bring Young Avengers, they're all coming in.
they're already setting it up.
Absolutely. But fandom, why is Ravonna just so dead set, like one track mind, like want to keep everything going when she's already seen this as a farce? Like she wants to go see who's in charge of it, but she's like, they're doing this for a reason. So I mean, just that alone is keeping her on this one track, like just keeping doing what we're doing, no matter what we find out.
She don't know the facts.
Good soldiers follow orders.
Bruh. You watch Lovecraft Country. That is the epitome of everything.
That is fantastic.
That's
that is
perfect.
Straight out of the Bad Batch. That's
well
amazing.
said, David.
That is amazing. So Loki and Sylvie make their way through the Citadel, and we see 4 pillar statues, which one is now smashed upon the floor. And are these the timekeepers? And if so, what's up with the broken one?
I gotta rewatch that scene specifically for these statues, because again, there were never no timekeepers. It was just all a fairy tale, just to keep the TVA going. It was always just him.
Or there were timekeepers, and he was. I mean, they're all variants of him, and that's one of the variants that they killed off of him. But they're all him because it looked like their faces were almost like Miss Minutes, just blank.
Where were? I gotta receive this scene.
What do you think about that, AK? What's up with the broken statue on the floor?
I believe that is one of the original time variants that were in there. And I'm not going to say that that's an original thought. It's actually from the comics. There was a 4th timekeeper, but if I had to hazard a guess, they were going to do something far more important than the task they were given. So they decided to off him.
I like that. I think so too. I mean, he already said that there was a battle and that he won. So I mean, maybe that was him killing off one of himself or another variant.
Quite possibly.
But Loki notices that the dust gathered on the statues and asks, are we even sure that he's still alive? So is there any way that he who remains is actually dead and just living through the recordings like Miss Minutes is? And basically Sylvie kept missing the same way Loki kept missing Miss Minutes when he was swatting her, because they're basically the same thing.
There's a lot of words in that question.
Basically, Loki comes in and he sees that dust on there, and he's like, "Are we even sure this cat's still alive?" And the way that he was bouncing around, when they were in the elevator and Sylvie kept trying to kill him, and he kept bouncing around with his little thing with his chem pad. That's kind of the same way when Loki was swatting Miss Minutes.
Oh yeah,
so he still wants to get married. Yeah, nah, man.
I'm telling you, they could he could already be dead. She could have just killed the same thing Loki did, his deception thing, and he could have been living on just like Miss Minutes is living on, just an animatronic of himself. That wasn't even really him. He was already gone.
Facts.
Crazy.
So
it's all connected. Everything that they do is all connected. This is why Marvel excels over the DCEU. They did not take the time to encourage and boost all of their properties separately to build that cinematic universe. Now that Marvel has it, and they're constantly going to be playing catch up and Jungle Cruise, because Marvel gets a lot of the same actors nowadays to come into these big name flicks, and I don't know if Namor's going to be able to float with that.
Was anybody else a little bit disappointed when they opened that door and it was actually the actor that had been cast as Kang? I was really hoping that it wasn't going to be a Kang situation.
Go ahead, David.
Same. I said it even like with DJ. I'm like, they didn't even like mention him that much to the point I'm just like, is it gonna be him? And then like maybe an after credit scene we're actually gonna see King. But then I was like, okay, so it actually is him.
Man.
Oh, I didn't expect to see anyone. Period. Not one variant. Not even the last. Not even Nathaniel. I thought it'd be empty.
What?
And then
It'd be empty. That'd have been dope.
Yeah, but then they moved on to show things around. And they showed everything that was there, and I was like, this is a really suckish part to get close to the end of season 1. Even though we know we're getting a 2, it's kind of harsh.
Oh, that was a hard way to leave. Peter Griffin wants to know what Miss Minute's Kang message was to Ravonna. Maybe like the young Kang or something. Oh, it's definitely all his plan to help bring him back because he already knows that basically she's going to stab. I think he did know it was going to happen all the way up till his death, and he, like you said, he paved the way. She just walked down it. Absolutely. Ravonna left real quick to find free will. Yes, she did. She was out. And where do we think she is? Like, where and when is Ravonna right now, fandom?
That is a good question. Like, didn't she get? She wanted information as to like what was it like the start, like the TV, how it was created. Like that was like the information she wanted, right? So if she wanted that information, but wasn't even given that, so she's not even probably even going to the past, if anything. So
that's not cool. If you see, but people, if you see your child struggling with putting dough together correctly, help them find the right ingredients.
He remained truly wowed by the fact that the two Lokis there at the same place at the same time, like almost as if it gave him like an idea, like a bad idea. I'm sure. Like instead of there can be only one rule, will he now like try to team up with another version of himself to rule it all?
That's interesting. That is a very interesting theory. I think I like that. Kudos to you for coming up with that. That's quite interesting.
You think he would team up with someone?
Himself.
Another variant?
Maybe.
As a means to an end, yes.
He says he can't trust himself, but if he had himself there to keep himself in check, that might be the one person he could check. What's up, JD?
Wouldn't you create a damn paradox that way?
Would it? I mean, did you see all of the branches going haywire at the end? I don't know that the argument could be made that it's going too haywire. I think it's kind of supposed to right now.
Absolutely. He was being rude when he said that about Loki, but did he ever think that either one of them was going to accept a drink from that man? Like, would you? You're going to kill this person? Are you ever going to accept a drink or have some tea first? Like, hell no, I ain't drinking your poison.
Yeah. No, it's never been anything I've had to think about, but now that I am, Stannis is the most honorable of the bunch.
Yeah, right. I'm not trying to drink nothing you're trying to serve. Ravonna actually looked happy to see Mobius. Like she said, if anybody could make it back from the void, it'd be you. But wouldn't you be looking around right then to see if Loki made it back as well? Like, I know my head would have been on a swivel. What about you, Grandma?
Exactly. Even the way how she said it wasn't like really warm, welcoming. It's like, well, if anyone made it back, it would be you. So, like, what you gonna do? Are you gonna like snitch and tell everyone that what's the real truth? You're gonna try to prune me? So it was like more of a heartfelt welcome from when she said it, in my opinion.
Absolutely, Peter Griffin.
Wow.
The swoopery with the drink. I ain't drinking anything he's serving. Such a sweet spot on the Princess Bride. Oh, but B-15 is being hunted, but gets another hunter alone and shows him that doppelganger of Ravonna. And now it seems like the hunters will be on the Loki side. So what's going to happen with the B-15s and all the hunters? Like, is that going to work out? Are they all going to go against Ravonna now? Or what? I mean, what do you think their plan was with that?
Oh, well, are they even going to go against Ravonna? Because the way how the episode ended, we don't even know who's in charge. Because remember, didn't 15 say to like Mobius, like, is he allowing this to happen or something? She said a he, right? And that's my check. Ravonna was in charge. So it's like, who is this he that they're talking about?
unless he's already come back and the timeline switched, and that's who they were talking about. But supposedly it hadn't happened yet. So yeah, that's a good point.
But has it though? That's another question. Like when our Loki comes back, like that's pretty much in feeling the effects of like Sylvie killing Kane, or the one who remains. It's like, well, obviously when he came back, no one didn't know who the hell he was. The statue there was like different, I believe, as well.
Right, yeah, exactly. But
So,
when
like,
they went in, I mean, I'm just what was that? Go ahead.
oh no, continue.
Oh no, I was just gonna say. So I mean, I want to know what Mobius's and B-15's plan was. Like, obviously, she got the hunters. She showed them what was going on and that they're all variants. So now, what's their plan now that they're running the hunters? And is the he that they're talking about Mobius at that point, or another hunter, or like, I mean, they had to have some kind of master plan. And at the very end, we see that when everything's changed, they don't even know what's up. So my big question with that is, do you think those two do have a big master plan? And did they leave themselves some kind of clue to remind them in case they got reset when all this went down?
I don't even think that he went in his actual timeline, honestly, at this rate. It's possible he went to a different one. Because remember, it was only one isolated timeline. And then possibly by the time he went back, he probably went into the wrong one.
Loki?
Because if he went into his right one, it wouldn't be that much different. But for him to like go back and no one knows who he is completely different. It's possible he's just on another branch of that timeline. That's all crazy.
Well, he definitely got sent to a different timeline, but that's just it. Like, now how many different branches are out there? So if anything happens on any timeline, does it even matter unless you're a Nexus being? Like, we can just jump to another timeline and keep the story moving, right?
Because there's no one isolated timeline anymore.
Which is just, and that's the bad part about time travel. You never know. Almost felt like the Planet of the Apes ending. Loki finally seeing the Statue of Liberty is only to realize it. Yeah, exactly. And that's how we know it's an alternate reality. That was pretty crazy. But He Who Remains knew all the soft spots to Zinger Loki's, like belittling and calling Loki like a flea on the back of a dragon in for one hell of a ride. I was like, oh, he's trying to cut deep. Like, he is definitely trying to get in the feels of these cats. And if they couldn't hit him inside an elevator, why are the Loki so confident in his office, like that they had the upper hand in anything? Like, they're like, obviously you don't know. We won. We're in charge. It's like, you couldn't even stab this man in a 3-foot elevator. Why are you so cocky now?
I love how they were going to attack this guy, but in a previous episode, was it episode 2 or 3 episodes before, when they were in an elevator with Ravonna, they could have easily get the jump on her. But now this time around, you don't even want to, now you want to get a jump on him? Come on now.
Ravonna's the one who snatched you up in the first place. Wouldn't you want her just as much as the other one? It's like you were already going to see the other one. Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't believe that. They could have easily jumped it, even with those things on. That was ridiculous. But King says he's seen it all, knows it all. Like, are you buying that AK? If so, like, I'm with Sylvie. Why are they even there if he already knows everything?
Is AK here?
Uh-oh. Did we lose it? Did we lose her? I think we got a frozen issue. Well, until she gets back, what about you, fandom? What do you think's up with that? Like, if he already knows everything, then what's the point of them being there unless this is just all part of his master plan?
Yep, pretty much that is all part of his plan.
Like,
He knew, yep. He knew that they were all going to end up there. This is what all he pretty much constructed. Just like Ford wanted damn Dolores to pop up.
He ran it all. Mobius speaks for all of us when he tells Ravonna, like, it's time for a little truth now. Like, she says, if they didn't prune the timeline, it'd be chaos and death. But isn't it just that way for the people that she prunes? I mean, it's death and chaos once they meet Alioth anyway. So why is that okay for them?
Repeat the question?
Mobius, like, when he said it's time for a little truth, and she's like, if they didn't prune the timeline, it'd just be chaos and death. Well, it's chaos and death for the people they're pruning. Why is it okay for them? Or is it just for the greater good of all? Some people just have to die. And if so, like, how does he think that's okay?
I mean, it's never okay. Then we had this like conversation earlier within the series where it's like you're just going to constantly prune innocent people.
Yep.
That had like no part of it.
And like, how can you fight for that like that? And like, how is that okay in your mind?
It never was okay. You just, at one point we learned later, like some of the variants do end up becoming like agents. But even then, I don't think like every variant becomes an agent. And then those who you're resetting the timeline, it's like, and they're getting evaporated. It's like so many innocent people.
And then Ravonna says, like, only one person gets free will, the one in charge. Like, is she just brainwashed? Like, how is she okay with that? Like, only one person gets free will and the rest of us just have to eat it? And that's what she's fighting for?
Again, I feel like I'm still watching the Bad Batch here. Right?
What is going on? And then Mobius says Ravonna betrayed him, but she's like, nay, you betrayed me. Like, who do you think was right in that situation? Who betrayed who?
Well, Mobius technically wasn't, but yeah, it was Mobius who was betrayed.
Mobius got betrayed. But she's like, I stuck my neck out for you. I fought for you. I did everything through eons. And all of a sudden, it just took 2 Lokis to walk into your life, and you dumped me instantly for them? I mean, she kind of had a point.
She had a point.
But again, she's fighting for not free will, and that can't be good either.
Exactly.
Or is that the better way? Because it sounds like with all these other ones coming, it's going to be even worse.
Because if she, quote unquote, always stick her neck out, it's like, still no. She should have never pruned him. She should have put him in prison, just like what happened with Agent 15, but Hunter 15. But she didn't prune Hunter 15. She pruned Mobius. Like, nah.
Do I see movement out there? What's up? Are you back, AK? I thought I saw a movement back there. What's up, Iron Tron? I see you out there. What's good? What's good? Welcome back. But Ravonna just easily disarmed Mobius and then bounced like through a portal. Like, we have no idea where she went, when or where she went.
I think she passed out. Yep.
Uh-oh.
And she's back.
What's up? You back, AK? Hey, AK.
Yeah, she passed out.
Let's do that for now, just until she comes back, lets me know what's what.
We bring her back with a different variant.
There you go. That's just it. Another variant out. She'll come back as a different one. He Who Remains says, without him, everything burns. Do you believe that?
It's true, because he's been pretty much isolated this one timeline and keeping it stable so that, the whole multiverse thing happens. And he's been trying to do that this whole time. Now he's just bored. And he's like, I don't want to do this no more. Or he's trying to do something else that we're not trivial of yet, and maybe you'll learn in season 2. But as of right now, it seems like he just want it to pretty much be in flames again.
But he says it's him he's afraid of. So if that's, is that true? Is he really afraid of himself? Or again, is he just trying to get these guys to go down the path of his master plan?
Now he is afraid of himself because he pretty much was one of the survivors of this multiverse war. That's like in the first episode when you asked like the whole Mrs. Minutes broadcast about like the whole history of how the creation of TVA. It was all of it true. And one thing I was saying, like, some of it is true and some of it wasn't. And one thing that is true is the whole multiverse war. And that's what he's afraid of. This war to happen again. Because so many people, lives were killed and crap. And I'm not even sure if it's like, was the one who remained, was that human variant or not? That was like the first person like to find the others and so on and so forth. That's one curiosity I was kind of having. Maybe have to maybe watch that scene.
All right.
But
that'd be
the
cool.
moment they all found out each other, and then that one bad one in the batch, and then it pretty much like caused the whole thing. It's like eventually that was inevitable. Like if you're gonna keep like finding versions of yourself, you're gonna find that one that's corrupted and wants to conquer everything and be that one supreme individual.
Yeah, you're gonna. Sooner or later,
we got that with the Loki episode, Loki variants episode. Like one was pretty much, in charge. He had the realm, and then at one point, one of them tried to portray the other for that damn throne, and a whole fight happened. So it was never really kind of like the mini multiverse war in a nutshell.
So Miss Minutes wasn't lying when she said that there was a battle. Like that actually was the battle.
There was a truth to that.
Absolutely. And when he was describing how it all began, like when he was talking of like civil hymns, he used the term they. And then he said, for some of us, it was all about conquering and ruling. So does this form of him lean more towards the good or more towards the evil side?
That's another thing, too. Like, Was he the human scientist or another one of the good ones? Or he can be bad, but not as bad as the baddest one.
So maybe somewhere in between.
Exactly. He could be on the fence.
I mean, which would, I mean, I guess would be all right, but yeah, it'd be better
It
to have.
seems like that's what he is. He seems like he was probably like the one that's on the fence of it. He wasn't completely good or bad. He just wanted like stay neutral as possible, just so nothing would escalate that bad again.
So he was the fandom desane of it all.
Of course.
He remains,
Maybe this variant I might actually collect dolls instead of Funko Pops. And they're not dolls, people. Even the box it says they're not dolls. Maybe that's what it is. Another multiverse. I'm the one who's actually collecting wine and alcohol and stuff, and you're actually collecting Funkos.
that's right. That's where it switches up. And he remains make it sounds like he's the cause and the problems of everything. So if he's really the last one, wouldn't it just be like, wouldn't he be gone forever if Sylvie killed him? Because he's making it sound like he's already conquered everybody and he's running it through this one timeline. So if it's really just him left, why wouldn't he just be dead if Sylvie kills him? Or is it just like what he said in the show, reincarnation, baby?
It could be reincarnation, but at the same time, it's like at what point in time you can still get like an earlier version of him. Like it's interesting. I don't know what was surprised this was actually King the Conqueror this whole time, but just one that won the whole war, but just got tired of it all. Who knows?
Like Peter Griffin says, he who remains had to have some bad in him if he's going to be the last man standing. You're going to have to do some dirt.
I mean, Elias was pretty much kind of like a dirty thing, like a dirty move. Like he got Elias
I
and
love
devoured everything.
Elias imprisoned him, not the other way around. I really do like that because that was the first thing I thought when he said he harnessed some of it and then basically started doing trials on it. I'm like, well, how did you harness it? Like the Lokis could barely like get in its mind. How did you harness part of it? Like I was like, was he lying about that? Maybe he. That's why I love that so much. Maybe he was the one who was trapped in there, and this was his way out. I love that. But he remains make it sound like, yeah, if he's the problem, I just think if he's the problem, then let these people kill you, and then there's no more problems. Because it sounds like you already killed all the rest of you, so now maybe if you go, I mean, if you're the one that are causing all these wars, wouldn't it just be better for him to be gone? No more wars?
There's another one.
Oh, was that a serious offer that he gave Loki and Silly to run the TVA for him?
Hell no! Again, the illusion of free will. He knew well, if anything, like Loki probably would have like accepted that offer. But Sylvie, no. There was like two things she wanted to know, and one of them pretty much got answered. Who was running the TVA? That was the one who remained. But why did and also like well kind of? No, we never knew like what was her next event. We still don't know what it truly is. We have like hints to it, and I'm still on the side of like it's her becoming like a hero.
Mm-hmm. Called that. I'm
But
pretty
they just
sure.
haven't damn confirmed it yet. So now we have to wait probably till season 2 to get that answer.
Yep.
So,
Oh, do they make whiskey Funkos? Oh, I was thinking the internals and the Eliath watching him. Oh, so maybe the internals had a part of entrapping him in there. I like that. I love that. Because, yeah, you need something powerful, obviously, super powerful. I don't think so. I think he was just tired. But like you said, there are infinite kangs coming. Kangaroos coming. He won't stop till the timeline is corrected again. Could be. Or, I mean, is he old? Was any of that the truth? Was he just old and he's looking for somebody else to take over? And that person came in twos?
I'm just like JD. It's like at one point I'm just like again, he just seemed like he was old. He doesn't want to do this anymore. So he pretty much orchestrated an event where it's like it's not him giving up in a sense. It's just someone like killing him, so he kind of like has an excuse to stop doing it. But at the same time, it also can be just a way for him to be free from that place, and something else would happen.
I like that. He tells Sylvie to grow up, calls her a murderer and a hypocrite, which she surely is, but shouldn't he be taking that blame? Like, he's the one that turned her into that.
Yep, because of the whole next event stuff. It didn't fall into his plan, quote unquote.
Yeah, that's just ridiculous. It's like, how you're gonna go off on her? I mean, yeah, she's all those things, but that's your fault. You turned her into all those things. That was ridiculous. And he seemed like scared and excited all at once when he was like, when the timelines breached and he no longer knew what was going to happen. He almost seemed a little Loki-ish, like almost doing something just to see what would happen. So was he being honest and he didn't know what was going to happen, or was he just acting that way basically? And this is still all part of his master plan.
Master damn plan to get killed.
He knew what
Lu-
was up.
Yep. The illusion of free will. It's that fear. But it was just weird how he's like, oh, I don't know what's actually happening. No, I think he does. I think he just knew what was happening. And as like it slowed down, it's like he knew like he was going to die. Like at that point, like Sylvie knew what she was gonna do. No one was gonna stop her, and the timeline was just beginning to crack.
Feel it. Loki seems to like believe him, but like he who remains noted earlier, Sylvie can never trust anybody. So it was like her whole life basically just a setup to get her here to this moment to do what needs to be done. Like again, this is just one more path he created for her to walk down.
Actually, he could be telling the truth. Now I'm thinking about it, because didn't they say near the end of time is like still being written, like he's still
Hmm.
writing the epilogue. So at
Yeah.
that point, he could have been like wrote it, but he doesn't know like what actually could happen, like within that said time. So maybe or maybe not. It could be Ford. Hmm. Did
So maybe
Ford
he
like
was on
want to be? Did he orchestrate his death, or did he? He wasn't 100% sure.
Oh, he
Like
orchestrated it
he
100%.
did.
Yeah.
Then okay, so then it's like we gotta know for sure. Like, did the One Remains orchestrate his death?
I love that. He absolutely did pull it forward. He went Westworld on it. I wasn't even making that comparison, but that's beautiful. I love that. And I like how they shot that scene with the Lokis when they were fighting and the fireplace, like in the background, you couldn't see it, but the more they spoke, the brighter it got. Almost like the fire was like growing inside Sylvie. The more they talked about it, and like it got brighter and brighter, the stronger and stronger. The more they talked, like finally, it was just the fire was burning so bad, and she wasn't going to hear anything. She was going to kill this man.
She was gonna kill him. I think she's gonna kill him the moment. I forgot at what point I was like, she's gonna kill him.
Oh, in the elevator, she tried. I mean, she was
No, I
ready.
think it was like after that conversation. It was like I'm not sure if it was like a little bit before. No, I think it was like after he explained like the whole reason why he did everything, and she was like, "You're lying."
Right,
Even
called
after
her a
he said
murderer.
that, then I'm like, she's gonna kill him.
It's like, grow up, Sylvie,
Hmm.
murderer, hypocrite. I was like, shit, you did that. All Loki wanted to do was like take a minute to think things through, but Sylvie was like on a hard one track mindset. Like, why the tunnel vision? Like I said, it was like that fire was just growing inside her. Because that
Hmm.
just did Kang must have like that was all part of his plan. I'm telling you, he had it from Jump Street. But Sylvie asked, like, if all of a sudden she's wanting to know, like, you just wanted the throne the whole time? And she asked, and he's like, no, I don't want the throne. And then she's like, fine, kill me, and lowers her sword. And again, he says, no, that's not what I want. So why can't she see that, that's not what he's going after? Like, why is she on such a one track mind with that?
What like what Sylvie with Loki?
Yeah, it's like he said,
Okay.
like, you just want the throne. He's like, no. And then all of a sudden he's like, she drops her sword. She's like, fine, kill me. He's like, no, I don't want to kill you. He's like, I just want you to be happy, basically. And she just, I mean, is it just like what Kane said earlier? Like she just can never trust anybody, or why the
Yeah,
one
she
track
just
mind?
can't. She just can't trust anyone because at this point, like Loki, at one point he kind of did want the throne, but he pretty much like developed, and then he's like, I just don't want it anymore. Instead, he found true love, which was Sylvie. So he was like, whatever makes you happy will make me happy.
And maybe that's what's going to happen with season 2 is he's going to find a way to time loop this and try to finally come back to a time where she doesn't kill him because things get so much worse. I would love
Oh no.
because some of the things that he's saying, he's like, no, I just want you to be happy. So yeah, I think maybe that might be a thing. They come back and try to rewind that so she doesn't end up killing him in the end. That'd be cool. But Loki shows that he really is doing it for love, and they finally kiss, which I didn't think was actually going to happen in the show, so that was kind of weird. And then Sylvie says, "But I'm not you," and kicks him through a doorway. Like, how is she not him? Like, does this make them making out okay because she's really not him?
All I'm saying is, if you felt disgusted by them making out and not disgusted, No, if you were okay with them making out, but not okay with Jamie and Cersei did it, hypocrite.
Hey,
But
there's nothing wrong with loving yourself, damn it.
but again, that was just Disney, and we all were expecting that was gonna happen eventually. We just didn't know at what episode, and this was it. And I didn't even know if it was gonna be like a season two until like the after credit scene. So I was like, okay, so it is happening now. I was surprised they didn't like stretch that out even more for like the reunion, and then they would kiss. Like that would have been better in my opinion.
But that was just kind of weird how she says, like, but I'm not you. It's like, wait a minute, of course you're him. Like, what do you mean I'm not you? And I mean, earlier she was even saying, like, why can't we see this the same way? So yeah, that was kind of a weird wording to say that like that. And I get it, she calls herself Sylvie and not Loki, but it's still you. I mean, it's still the same version of you. So what are we talking about here? Of course they kiss. You have to feed the shippers. Absolutely. Got to get instant. Intern watching him. Ooh, oh, there it is. Missed it. I don't think so. I think he was just tired, but like
Yeah, you read it because the
oh,
kangaroos.
yeah, we're back on track. I thought it moved, so I was like, wait a minute, getting behind. Oh man! But Sylvie gets her wish and runs He Who Remains through with her blade, and he winks and says, "See you soon." Is it simply through reincarnation, or is this all part of the master plan? Like another version of him's coming. So is it going to?
Another
Is he talking?
variant.
Is
Another, and
talking to
now
be
it could
him
be two
reincarnated?
things. It's two things. I'm on the side of the variants mainly. That it's just variants.
So when he says "see you soon," he's talking about another version of him's going to see her soon,
Mm-hmm.
not just a reincarnated him.
Yep.
Mobius says, "This is it. No turning back to B-15." So again, you think that they gave themselves some kind of like clue or hint in case something happened and they got reset that they'll be able to kick back to and show, okay, we had a plan. This is it.
I would say yes, but because how like Loki comes back, it's like, was that the same plan? Because the way how it was happening, it looks like they don't even know. They don't even have a plan at all.
Because well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they're in this whole different thing, and now you got Loki going in, going, "Oh no, this is happening," and they're like, "Whoa, who are you?" So I'm wondering if maybe like in the next season, all of a sudden Mobius will go, "Wait a minute, I have this clue for something. I never knew what it was," and goes back, opens up some safe or whatever, and there's like a tape of them saying, "Hey, look, you need to snap out of it. You've been reset." I don't know, something like that. That'd be crazy.
Unless that all that tape is in a different universe.
Mm-hmm.
Because where are we right now?
But Loki just sits around moping for a bit, and then not be, about not being loved back. But then realizes it's time to go find Mobius. And deep dive when he was running. Did you notice, like as he was running, we heard one of the other hunters say, "Copy that, heading to the armory, sir." And that voice was the same exact voice of the analyst who said he didn't know what a fish was.
Okay. You're serious? It was?
Yeah,
That's
listen to it.
interesting.
That's the same voice. So basically, that was them showing that things are different now, and this is a whole different timeline.
Wow, that's interesting.
That was a deep dive. Go back and listen, dude. It's his exact voice. And he's like, "Head to the armory now, sir." And basically, yeah, go back and in there, and it shows him as a hunter now instead of an analyst on the credits.
Wow. So when Sylvie did send him back, it was just a different timeline.
She sent him to it. That's showing that she sent him to a different timeline. Exactly.
So like,
So
how fast would it just like the ripple effects would then be? Like the moment, like, because she sent him back, then kills the one who remains.
time's instant transformation because yeah, backwards. And once you're at the end, backwards and forward, it's the same thing. So they're basically just going backwards in time, resetting everything, and yeah, everything's instant, I would imagine. But I mean, who knows? There are no rules when it comes to timelines.
Very true. Very true.
So he then looks up and gets confirmation about that the timekeeper statues have now changed to He Who Remains, and I don't know. I thought that that was cool, but I hated the like mid credit scene, just showing that there will be a season two. Like no extra explanations, no showing where Ravona's up to, no nothing, no what Miss Minutes is, just timestamp. See it in season two. I was like, what? What do you think about that?
First, I was happy there's gonna be a season two, but like I said earlier, when we started the stream, like okay, season two, but at the same time, it's like there's just so much unanswered questions, so much that we didn't get answered. Like at least they answered, okay, who was running the TVA, but like what was Sylvie's Nexus event? Where did Renslayer go?
We inquiring minds need to know. A feast for variants, a dream of variants. Will it ever be told? Will it ever be explained? And I think like there's a chance this comes out even. I want to know what the timeline is, like when the movies are coming out. Doctor
That's
Strange,
another thing
Spider-Man,
too.
the Eternals, and then season 2 of Loki. Because I hear Ant-Man and the Wasp, when Kang is actually supposed to be shown, or he's going to be the big bad in that. That's supposedly not coming out till 2023. So it's like, how are they going to fit all this in, and what kind of madness are they going to have going before they even show, like, or is Kang going to make an appearance in every one of those shows leading up to that?
Now I gotta look at the release date of these freaking movies because isn't Spider-Man supposed to come out like December
I
or
think so.
something? And
Yeah.
it's like here we are in July. Like this one should have been the after credit scene. Show us the freaking trailer to Spider-Man Far From Home. That's what it should have been. And instantly people would have got some Disney Plus subscription just to see this damn trailer.
Right. Oh man, so many things we need answered, and I can't wait. I am excited there's a season 2, but I just wasn't the biggest fan of this finale. I don't know. A scale out of 1 to 10, what do you give it? I'd probably give it a 7.
Yeah, probably around there, like 6 or 7.
Yeah,
Because
so
I'm still like episode. I think it was 1 and episode 4 were probably like my favorite episodes this season. I think for you it was like 2 and 4 because you didn't like that much of season 1. That's me, episode 1. So you
absolutely.
probably because the way episode 4 was, that felt like that was like the penultimate episode. I wish I was on here in the stream with you to talk about that damn episode. That was like one thing I missed out.
Oh, it was amazing. Yeah, that was definitely the best one. And then probably 1 and then 5.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But we'll definitely be back. I'm not sure what we might be getting back on to a rewatch of season 1 for the boys, so I can finally watch season 2 because I haven't seen that one.
Same. I even saw a Funko Pop to the boys come out, and I'm like, I even like watch season 2. I don't even know if I want to buy this thing or not.
I know that's it. Got to get into it. So we got to get after that. Maybe knock them out like 2 at a time just to get through it, so we can get into season 2. And then definitely going to be all about it when the What If series from Marvel comes out.
Yep. I'm not sure when they're gonna do those. Like on a Wednesday too, or is it gonna be
I'm
on a
not sure. That's
Saturday?
what they're saying. Like all the new ones are supposed to be coming out on Wednesday. So I don't know. I don't know if they have more than one thing out at once, if they'll do that or not. So yeah, we'll have to see how that works out.
Mhm.
But I'm all in and excited to see it. So I want to thank everybody for coming out today. Thanks for being here, fandom. And definitely looking forward to the next one. And for those of you in it, we will be back on Tuesday with the Bad Batch. Hope everybody's having an absolutely fantastic weekend. Well, it gets better from here. Until next time, be easy, everybody.